know, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. There's a reason why I come from the kids.
Yeah.
So, when we set this up,
I still feel like
this is where
I was together tomorrow. Nope. We're not,
I still feel like there's a camera section.
right. But we're not planning on any next year. That's why we didn't put any on the calendar. So I guess we haven't gotten to the other side of do we want to consider it? We're not even there yet. So because we may not. And I think I do think that one of the things that I sent to Roxy in an email was I think it's difficult and probably not a good idea to gauge how good remote learning days are or aren't based on this year, because 5 of them were required by the legislature. The others we put in to try to deal with rotations of students, concurrent teaching, other stuff that's not going to be the case next year. So because those things are not going to be the case next year, I'm wondering whether we need them at all. The one thing that makes me wonder about using them is it would be great for our year-round schools to not have to do makeup days on Saturdays. But I don't know if that's a good enough reason. Because that's been something that they've lived with for a long time. And the other half days are not full days.
Yeah, I know that.
So, yeah. So
Because see there too, because I was always, why do you have to go the whole day? They only have to go half day.
Right. So anyway, but that's, I was like, instead of all of these emails, let me just sort of touch base with you. It's 3 things. Policy allows it. We don't have any planned. Before we plan any, we got to get more structure around them. And I'm not sure that we want to. So. I saw you called.
Should they go ahead and start the stream now?
Supposed to be here. He's on the way now.
colleagues, I think we're about ready to begin. Dr. Matillo, I believe, are you the beginning presenter, or I think we're live. I think Mr. Simmons went out instead. Are we good? Superintendent Moore, are we good to start?
I'll check. Give me a second.
Do we have the presentation, Tim?
Things look loaded in the WebEx, Ms. Cash.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Matillo. You can go ahead. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Cash, and good afternoon, everybody. Oh, sorry, Chair Sutton. think Chair Sutton said to hold off.
Do we need to wait?
Yeah, test, Micah. Yeah, it's on.
Ms. Cash, we have several staff members online, and it appears that all board members are going to be present today. I know Ms. Scott said she was running a bit behind, but she's on her way.
Okay, so we have all of our board members present, except Mr. Haggerty is not here, but will be, and Ms. Scott will be joining us. So we have a complete group, and I would like to start with a motion for approval of the prior minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
A second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. We will begin today with our initial planning for our summer learning incentives that we would like to do, and we will start with Dr. Matillo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cash, and good afternoon, board members, Superintendent Moore. I'm here to present to you our final compensation recommendations for certified and non-certified summer learning staff. Pending your feedback and support, we will bring both of these items to you as an action item during your board meeting this evening. While this presentation addresses the compensation aspects of summer learning, you will also receive a more comprehensive summer learning update during the work session today. Happy to answer any questions beyond compensation that I can, and I think Brian will join me as well. But again, you'll have that update during the work session also. First, as a reminder, all current employees in 10 or 11-month positions who are not employed during the time period when we have summer learning taking place are eligible for employment in the program. For most schools, this will be between June 15th and July 31st. For the year-round schools, operating programs during track-out periods will vary throughout the school year. Retired, certified, and non-certified staff members also are eligible, and external candidates also may be considered. Before we go into the non-certified recommendations, I do want to review the salary recommendations for certified staff members that we shared with you during your May 4th work session and just highlight one little change for you. Our recommended rate remains $45 per hour, as this aligns with our highest paid teachers, those with master's degrees and national boards, and who have approximately 20 years of experience or more. As outlined in HB 82, teachers who have received previous performance bonuses for reading and math or hold national board certifications to receive a legislative signing bonus of $1,200 in addition. Teachers who are national board certified and prior recipients of a state reading or math bonus are only eligible for one of the $1,200 bonuses. We've received some questions regarding that. Additionally, third grade reading teachers who are eligible to receive $150 for each student who enters the program not demonstrating reading proficiency, who then becomes proficient after completing the program. In addition to the legislated bonus, the district recommends an additional $1,200 attendance bonus for all certified staff who commit to the full 6-week program. The Wake County attendance bonus will be prorated at $400 for staff who are able to work the 3 weeks. So this is where the change to the bonus structure varies a little bit from your last work session. In an attempt to provide more consistent incentives across employee calendars, we have more closely aligned how we will prorate the attendance bonus for staff supporting year-round summer learning sessions with the bonuses for staff working the traditional sessions. So employees on both calendars will now receive $400 for the first portion of the summer learning sessions they work, and the additional $800 if they work all 6 weeks. The only difference is that while traditional calendar employees will receive the $400 for the first 3 weeks, year-round calendar employees will receive $400 for the first 2 weeks, just to align it with those 2-week sessions that just seem to make some sense to us. As a reminder, certified staff are eligible for both the legislated signing and performance bonuses and the WCPSS attendance bonus. So I want to move into our recommendations for non-certified staff compensation. The majority of non-certified staff members needed to support summer learning program will likely be instructional assistants, CNS assistants and cashiers, and bus drivers. For these critical staff members, we are proposing a rate of $20 per hour or the employee's hourly rate if that is higher. For most of our employees, the $20 per hour rate will be higher than their regular hourly rate. This is similar to the rationale we use to calculate the hourly rate for certified, trying to find a rate that would be higher than most, but allowing to revert back to their standard hourly rate if it is higher. We also know that our non-certified staff members will play a key role in the success of our summer learning program, which is why we are proposing that both certified and non-certified staff to be eligible to receive the Wake County attendance bonus of up to $1,200. The attendance bonus will be prorated in the same way for both groups of employees, with $400 paid to employees working the first 3 weeks or the 2-week year-round session, and an additional $800 for employees who work the full 6 weeks. And then lastly, this slide provides an outline of the next steps in our staffing timeline. General summer learning positions are now posted in AppleTrack and will be advertised to staff once compensation recommendations are approved. So we hope to do that tonight or tomorrow. School administrators at the sites are leading the hiring process and submitting recommendations to HR. We are starting to get the student numbers in, so while we have those general positions posted and outlined there, we will begin to now narrow down on exactly how many positions at each school we will need or at each site. And again, for the terms of employment, 10 and 11-month employees who work during the summer learning program must be temporary, so separate employment agreements are required by statute. And finally, our salary and bonus payment schedule should be finalized soon, with the goal of providing employees with accurate pay as soon as possible. And I think that was some feedback we heard during the last work session, and we're just trying to continue to get some answers and study to see what we can do along those lines. So that covers my presentation for today. Happy to take questions that you have or feedback that you have.
Ms. Carter?
I'll just say thank you because I do appreciate the hourly rate being higher for the non-certified staff than most would typically receive during their normal work schedule. So I do appreciate that, and that they will also qualify for the attendance bonus. Do we know about, and it's on the same, do we know about how many of the non-certified staff we will be needing for the program? Do we have?
We don't yet. We sort of allocated that initial position at each school, then based on the numbers, and we are, I think, looking to sort of allocate based on our typical allotment ratios during the school year. So I think staff right now are actually working on that since we're getting the numbers in now.
Next question.
Thank you, Ms. Cash. And Dr. Mattello, can you remind us where the funding for the Wake County bonuses is coming from?
Yes, we'll actually be able to use grant money for that. I think it's ESSER 2 and 3 where those funds will come.
Okay. And can you further explain the $400 attendance bonus for both groups? Why for traditional it's for 3 weeks, but I mean I understand that the year-round is 2-week block, but it does seem not consistent. But.
Yeah, it is. It's different just to acknowledge the fact that they're going to work it during track-out periods, and there will be 2 sessions per track-out period. So it could be likely that a teacher or support staff who during their one particular track-out could support the program, but may not be able to during the other 2 track-out periods. So we wanted to at least provide incentive for them to be able to work that one track-out period that we can.
Okay, I see. So just incentivizing, given the difficulty of the year-round calendar and providing this service. Okay,
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense. I appreciate that. Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
sir.
So will we be getting kind of like a follow-up as we see how much staff we're getting recruited by this incentive program based on our need? How will we hear that during, like, probably board session, I guess?
I think we'll have some initial information during the work session today, but it may take several days just to verify all the data, and certainly can provide you an update at that time.
And subs are eligible for this, right?
We have, in past years, we have not used subs during summer learning, but we are kind of, as we see the employee numbers come in, are just taking a look at that to see if that's something we need to do, since this is a different type of summer learning that we did, a bit more extensive this year than we've done in the past. But it is something we are looking into.
Ms. Carter?
Sorry, just that made me think of something else. Sorry about that. Sorry to circle around. But for external and internal candidates, will there be any like priority among, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Among internal versus external?
Yeah, while the positions are open to all, I think several of our board policies kind of speak to preference going toward experienced folks. So I think in lines with that, if we have experienced folks both at the school, in the district, those folks would get priority, also within that grade level. So there's a number of factors that you'd prioritize during hiring, but certainly having Wake County teachers who are familiar with Wake County processes and curriculum, then would likely get preference over outside candidates.
Johnson Hausler?
Similar, that was my question, but the follow-up to that is, I guess I'll go back to substitutes. Since you haven't completely made a decision, is it going to be based on if we can fill those slots, or is there other criteria if we use subs this year or not?
Yeah, I think there's two things that we really need to look at. One, our ability to fill the positions and folks to commit to them, and then also considering if a teacher who has filled it does have to be absent for a day or two, and the ability to cover that work. So we're going to have to kind of look at those two factors as we make final decisions about subs.
It doesn't seem like we have a lot of questions on this, which is good. I think it's a very positive move to helping us reach our summer learning loss that we're trying to do and help our kids and have our certified teachers and non-certified staff be a part of the relationship building that continues in our schools. And you said that the site administrators will do the hiring and submit the recommendations, so that means the principals?
Principals, assistant principals, consistent with our typical hiring processes.
Okay.
Okay.
No other questions? Any questions online, Ms. Mahaffey? Okay.
There are no questions online.
So that is all, and that is the abundance of our finance committee, right, Mr. Nieder? Thank you, Dr. Matillo, so much. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ms. Cash, this is the only item we had teed up for today's Finance Committee meeting, just to ensure we had time. Obviously, there were a few questions. But again, we wanted the focus to be on this one item, given the timing of it and the importance of it.
Okay, so.
And I think, I had to step out for a minute, but just as a sort of final reminder for closing, with the one additional update for the certified staff, the additional information for the support staff, this is on the agenda for board action this evening for approval.
Right, board action tonight.
And then in the work session, we're discussing more the academic pieces of the summer
Of the summer
learning?
program, yes.
Okay, so I think this helps feed that discussion. Ms. Cash, so thank you.
Good. Compliments nicely, so. Okay, thank you. So if we don't have any other questions or business, I feel like we can.
I'll add one last thing.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'm looking for.
I'll send an email to the board about this as well, and I'm just waiting on a contact from the county manager for some details. But just a reminder that the county commissioners are having a budget work session next Monday on the 24th. It's scheduled from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I don't know at what point in the meeting they're planning on engaging in the WCPSS budget. But I wanted to remind you again of when that is. Typically, board members are invited to attend. They have all of their meetings are virtual, so you would be on virtually, and staff and the superintendent, we are there to answer questions as well.
And as soon as I have more details, I will get them to you, but just want another reminder.
So
Yeah, I'm glad
staff
you-
will be attending, I'm sorry.
Yes, staff will be
Okay.
attending.
No, I'm glad you clarified that because I was afraid that I had missed that date. So, yes, and so we just join by their website on virtual.
So I think you can, I think they use Cisco WebEx maybe, which means that they have panelists and attendees. And so I think that's the other piece that I'm waiting on is generally the board members could be attendees or they could be panelists. I mean, I think it could be either one. So I'm just waiting on some direction from the county.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Kushner.
Just one are they having a budget public hearing? Will that be following this work session, the county commissioners?
They always do. I'm not sure when it is.
Okay.
So.
I
But
guess
it's
we'll
one of
find
their
out the
regularly
24th.
scheduled meetings, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's all the business for finance, so we are adjourned.